When I was 18, I experienced my first love, a love so beautiful that even now, whenever I think about it, my heart still flutters like it did in those early days. It was the summer before graduation when I met Ethan, a classmate with a radiant smile and warm, gentle eyes. My name is Anna, born and raised in a small coastal town. My life was intertwined with breathtaking sunsets, the salty sea breeze, and dreams as vast as the horizon. Ethan, on the other hand, was a city boy. His family moved here when he was young. Despite our different backgrounds, Ethan had a natural charm, a friendly personality, and a way of making those around him feel safe. We had known each other for a long time, but had never truly been close. It wasn't until we both joined the school's music club that I got the chance to talk to him more. Ethan had a deep, soothing voice, making every song he sang feel like a love letter. Our first rehearsal for the graduation performance was a day I would never forget. That day, I arrived early, sitting in a quiet corner, practicing my song. Ethan unexpectedly walked up, sitting down beside me. "Do you like this song?" he asked, his eyes scanning the notes on the sheet music. I nodded, trying to hide the nervous flutter in my chest. "I do too. It has a touch of nostalgia, a bit like a promise for the days to come," Ethan said, his deep voice blending into the quiet space of the room. When the rehearsal officially started, Ethan stood in front of me, his eyes gleaming with confidence. Suddenly, he took my hand, his palm warm against my skin. "Sing with me?" he asked softly, his voice gentle yet captivating. I was startled, my heart pounding wildly. In that moment, it felt like the whole world had shrunk, leaving just the two of us. I took a deep breath, nodded, and as the melody played, our voices intertwined as if they were always meant to. From that day on, every time I looked at Ethan, my heart beat to a different rhythm, a rhythm I had never felt before. As time passed, we grew closer. Ethan would wait for me at the school gate, cycle beside me on the way home, quietly stand by me when I was sad, and be the first to congratulate me whenever I achieved something. Our evening strolls under the fragrant milkwood trees made me feel like the world only consisted of the two of us. I truly believed that love at 18 would last forever. Our memories together kept growing. I remember the sunlit summer days when we cycled to a distant field where an old oak tree stood tall against the blue sky. Ethan once carved our names into its bark, a silent promise that we would always belong to each other. We sat under that tree for hours, talking about dreams and the things we wanted to do in the future. Once, I asked Ethan where he wanted to go the most. He smiled and said, "Anywhere as long as you're there." At that moment, I thought nothing could ever separate us. I remember the sudden summer rains when we ran for cover under a rooftop, laughing and gasping for breath before silently watching each other through the falling rain. Droplets trickled down Ethan's face, his eyes shining as if reflecting an entire world within. Have you ever thought that the smallest moments like this would become the most precious? Ethan asked, his voice merging with the sound of the rain. There was a time when we sneaked into the school basketball court late at night. Ethan loved basketball and wanted to teach me how to shoot. We laughed, ran around like kids, and when I made my first successful shot, Ethan cheered and hugged me tightly. That was the happiest moment I had ever felt. One of the memories I cherished the most was the summer festival that year. It was the biggest event in town, and I had never been more excited, knowing I would spend the evening with Ethan. The streets were adorned with colorful lanterns, casting a warm glow against the night sky, reflecting in Ethan's sparkling eyes. The air was filled with the scent of baked goods, buttered popcorn, and cotton candy, blending with the joyful laughter of festival goers. We tried every carnival game, ring toss, water gun shooting, fishing, and each time, Ethan made me laugh with his adorable expressions, whether he won or lost. We shared a fluffy cloud of cotton candy, its sweetness melting on my tongue, just like the carefree moments I wished to hold onto forever. When the fireworks lit up the sky, Ethan suddenly took my hand. The dazzling lights illuminated his gentle features, the ones I had grown to love so much. At that moment, it felt like the entire world had shrunk, leaving only the two of us under the glittering sky. Ethan leaned in close and whispered in his warm voice, "I wish we could stay in this moment forever." My heart raced. My cheeks burned as I felt the warmth of his hand. I nodded softly, as if agreeing to that wish. And then, neither of us said another word. Our eyes spoke for us. Ethan leaned in, his lips brushing against mine in a kiss that was both sweet and intense. The fireworks exploded above, but all I could hear was the pounding of our hearts. We left the festival when the crowd began to thin. Ethan held my hand tightly, leading me down a quiet street lined with lanterns casting flickering shadows on the pavement. Neither of us wanted the night to end too soon. When we reached his house, we hesitated, looking at each other in silence. A meaningful pause stretched between us before Ethan gently pulled me into his arms, his breath warm against my skin, filled with longing. Every touch grew warmer, more urgent. Our kiss deepened, no longer just gentle but filled with passion, pulling me into a wave of overwhelming emotions. Ethan whispered my name between breaths, his hands tracing my skin, each gesture both tender and electrifying. We surrendered to each other, to the moment where our bodies and souls intertwined. The dim light from the bedside lamp flickered against our sweat-kissed skin, our heartbeats echoing in the stillness, only interrupted by our breathless murmurs of love. As the night embraced us completely, we held onto each other, feeling the warmth, as if nothing could ever tear us apart. In Ethan's arms, I knew I belonged to him, and that this night would be etched in my heart forever. But love is not just about happiness, it also faces trials. I began to notice that Ethan was becoming distant. He spoke less, sometimes avoided my gaze, and often seemed lost in thoughts I couldn't reach. My heart grew heavy with questions and doubts. I asked him multiple times, but he always evaded the topic until one afternoon, under the oak tree where we often sat together, he sighed, his eyes burdened. "My family is moving to another city after graduation." His words fell like an unexpected storm. I froze. A wave of emotions crashed over me: fear, loss, heartbreak. We only had a few months left. Time, which once felt infinite, suddenly became fragile. Knowing our days together were numbered, we cherished every moment even more. Our evening walks became slower, our hands clasped tighter, as if afraid to lose each other's warmth. Our silent cafe dates, where words weren't needed, held more meaning. Ethan started writing me letters, secretly placing them in my desk. Pages filled with memories, love, and fragile promises. I read them over and over, trying to carve every word into my heart. We loved each other fiercely, as if trying to capture time, every touch, every kiss. But no matter how much we tried, time moved forward, uncaring. Now, looking back, I always smile, because first love, whether it lasts or not, is one of the most beautiful parts of youth. It teaches us about joy, heartbreak, and the bittersweet journey of growing up. It reminds us that even fleeting moments can leave a permanent mark on our hearts.